Alright, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Zafina. This is a character that was recently buffed, and a lot of people think that she's one of the best characters in the game. I'm inclined to believe that she has probably one of the best neutrals in the game. I don't know if she's like top 5 or anything like that, but in general this is an exceptionally tricky character that has a lot of fake tools and just a lot of things that aren't very good, but because of her evasion through her stances and just her homing options and all that, because she has so many defensive tools that are really good, it kind of doesn't matter if her offense isn't amazing. So we're going to talk about some of the more powerful stuff, as well as how to counterplay her in the neutral, as well as her stances. So Zafina's biggest strength is, unironically, that a lot of people just don't know what she does. This means that it's really easy for Zafina to knowledge check you and do a bunch of strings that aren't very good, but it doesn't matter if they aren't very good. Like, this goes into stance and it's high, high, high. A lot of people don't know that. This is a common string that people get hit by, and this low guarantees quite a bit of damage here. And a lot of people, they just don't know that. You get that for free. Super, super good. A lot of people, they never duck that low. There is this string. A lot of people, this is a launcher if the first hit counter hits. Just super, super annoying string. If you try to interrupt after the first hit, then you'll get knocked down and take 1,000,000 damage. So, she's just a weird and, in my opinion, kind of gross looking character. So a lot of people are just not gonna know what she does. She has 2 snake edges that a lot of people, they're never reacting to in their entire life. No one's reacting to these. So, because they've just never seen the animation before. So that is one of her biggest strengths. That she can kind of just press whatever button she wants, because who knows what this character does. On top of that, she does have some more legitimate strengths. So her back 1+2, this is the infinity move. This hits from a little bit past range 3. And it is a homing button that is -6 on block. Does 37 damage if you have install. And if you have install, it also is +4 on block. So, yeah, and when she's in heat, it doesn't do any chip damage. So, yeah, that's a pretty good button. But that's not her only good button. So, for instance, she has her down back 3. This is a very fast low that is +3 into stance. At +3, it's pretty hard to step her options in this stance. She has her down 3. This is pretty fast. Launch punishable, though. A lot of people don't know that that's launch punishable. She has her wall running 1+2. This is a high. A lot of people don't know that. But it's +6 into stance, where basically every button that she's going to want to press is homing at +6. Super, super good. She has her 4-4-3. This is like a Heihachi, Kazuya, Reina axe kick. It's +4 into stance, and at +4, again, you're not really stepping here. Super, super good stuff. Also, her forward 3. This is a high that tracks to Zafina's left. It's homing to her left. It's +3 on block, but this move is actually insane. On normal hit, it does this. That's on normal. And also, this is a heat dash wall splats. Really insane move. It has like decent range too. It's not amazing range, but like it has pretty good range for a not a homing high, but a high that tracks very well to one side. This is a pretty incredible move that you don't really see a lot of people talking about. Besides that, out of her stances, she has these down forward 1 moves. These are all broken. They're all plus on block. Because this one's a launcher out of Scarecrow. This one's safe. It's a safe normal hit launcher that gives an install. The one out of Mantis, heat engager, plus on block into stance, really insane. And then the one out of Tarantula, +6 into stance. Also does more chip damage to you than it does to her. So she has some incredible neutral tools that a lot of people don't really talk about. Everyone just talks about this, but like these moves are really, really crazy. So let's talk about how to beat it. Now, in general, Zafina's tracking is actually pretty good to the point where you basically don't want to be stepping her. Technically, in the neutral, left is her weak side, but the issue is it's only her weak side because of range issues, not really because of tracking issues. So, like, this is a heat engager that you can cleanly sidestep the whole thing, but if she's right on top of you, you can't actually sidestep it. So, that's the thing. And then she has this slow, which you can sidestep the second hit, but there's a better counterplay to it. And then also, if Zafina really wants to track you with this, then like she can just step with you, right? So now, are you gonna see a Zafina with like a really robust offense? Probably not. Zafina plays really lazy because no one knows what the character does. But her tracking is like not horrible. Like, yeah, you're not really linking jabs and your down forward ones are whiffing, but you know, one of her good lows, her down three, this is tracking you, right? And this is like one of her better lows. It puts her +5 in the stance. Like this is, or +7 in the stance. This is one of her better lows. So, okay, her low is tracking you. She has this, which is homing, and it gives you install on hit. She has this heat engager. Super good. Yeah, it's just not really worth stepping this character in the neutral. With that being said, she does have range issues. Not like crazy range issues, but you know, if she hits this has push pushback. She needs to like run at you in order to actually hit you, right? Like, if I set Jin to backdash, I don't really have a moves that are hitting me. Like, yeah, a second one's gonna hit. But like jab is missing. This high kick is missing, is one of her better moves. That's missing. Her forward 3. Her forward 4-3 is missing. Her forward 1+2. This is a safety heat engager. That's mid. But like even this is missing off of a backdash. So in general, I would say this is a character that you more want to backdash against than you really want to be stepping against. Stepping, in my opinion, is a lost cause unless the Zafina player is extremely lazy with their offense. Which, to be clear, most of them are, but it is worth keeping in mind that as you get better and better, stepping this character is going to be a lot worse. So before getting into her stances and which way you want to sidestep and where you want to interrupt and all that stuff, I figured a better place to start would be her strings. No one knows what Zafina does. I'm going to say that a lot this video, but because so many people don't know what this character does, I feel like delving a little bit deeper into her strings is going to be really good for you guys, so that you guys have a little bit better understanding of what's even happening on screen. So let's start with her 1-2-3 string. This is her 1-2 is a 10 frame punish. The 3 is not guaranteed, so if you think that Zafina player is going to use the 3 option, the 3 is the only thing that she can do after this. So if she does the 1-2, she has to do nothing and take the frames, or she can use 3. If she uses 3, you can see this is all highs, you can just duck this. So I'll have him set to duck. And you can duck and watch this. So be on the lookout for that. Again, it's stuff you'll probably see quite a bit, especially at lower ranks. Definitely need to look at. Next, let's talk about her 2-1-3 string. This is a high mid. That's safe, so that's pretty good. And then it has this low extension. This low extension is launch punishable, and you can't interrupt after the second hit. You kind of have to hold this low. So also, this will high crushes, and it crushes some mids, which is pretty good. She can also cancel this. If she cancels it, I know it says -17 here. You cannot launch this on react. So if you see her cancel this low, she is basically safe. I wouldn't even try to punish her here. This is a place where I would take my turn back, but I wouldn't look for a dedicated punish here. So just be on the lookout. This is a mix-up, and it is like kind of heavily in Zafina's favor, where just if she sees you ducking this on reaction, then, you know, obviously she'll just start doing cancels, and then the cancels are safe. So next, there is the 1+2 4/4 string. The first hit is -12. You're never going to see the first hit by itself. 1+2 4 is -10, and 1+2 4/4 is -11. Why are Zafinas using this string? Well, it looks slow enough that you can interrupt. If you try to interrupt after the first hit, this happens. You can counter and launch. However, you can't interrupt after the second hit, so that is just something to be aware of. So you can interrupt there, but that's why Zafinas are using it. If you're gonna knowledge check with a bunch of moves no one's ever seen. So next we're gonna talk about Zafina's Snake Edge, or one of them anyways. I'm here with Anna because she has one of the slower wall rising launchers. Hers is 16 frames. So it's just to show how you actually go about punching this. But this is extremely seeable. So this is something you want to lab. It doesn't look like other Snake Edges, but it is a very recognizable animation. And on block, she can rip the follow-up anyways. Luckily, this is not a mix-up. No matter what, if you have a 16 frame wall rising Punisher, you can do this where you rip your launcher anyways and it will beat the second hit. So that is the counterplay to this. You can always launch this. I don't want to say no matter what character you're playing, but you can always launch this even if she rips the follow-up on block. Another low you need to look out for is down back 4. This goes into Mantis at -4. At -4, you can sidestep a lot of these options here, but again, we'll get into that later. More importantly, she has this follow-up here that is a natural hit launcher. Also, if this down back 4 counter hits, it will counter hit launch. So, it has a decent amount of evasion, so there is a good reason for Zafina to use it. Now, if you are super locked in, you can actually do this on block. You cannot do it on hit, but if you block the low, you can sidewalk left here. This is extremely advanced, so I wouldn't expect most people to do this. I've literally never seen anyone do this, even in tournament play. So don't be like upset if you aren't getting this reliably. But this is technically an option if you duck this well, because most Zafinas are going to rip this anyways, even on block. So if you do end up just blocking the whole thing, you do want to crouch and then stand up for this mid, -13. Next, we'll talk about down 1/1. It's this string. It doesn't look very good, and the first hit is launch punishable. So if she delays, you can interrupt here. But it does knock down on normal hit. I don't believe this is a full launch. Yeah, this isn't a full launch on normal hit. But more importantly, this is a fully delayable counter hit launcher. That's the main reason that you're going to see Zafina's use it, is that you'll block the first hit and try to punish. Also, the whole thing is guaranteed because it's not a natural hit combo. But it is very unsafe. First hit -60, second hit -12. Delayable counter hit launcher. So, given that it's a counter hit launcher, it's only -12, there actually isn't a whole lot of risk for Zafina to just use the whole thing. But if she delays it enough, you do get to punish her, or you do get to launch her here. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for that string. This next string is one that I would lab and try to get down pretty consistently. This is her down forward 4-1 and 4-2 series. So you cannot step this second hit, but the second hit just isn't very good. This doesn't even launch on normal hit. Yeah, it does nothing. It does wall splash, but this doesn't launch on normal hit. So in terms of a risk reward, it's not too bad. But the other option, which you're going to see a lot more, is a heat engager. So what do you want to practice? You want to practice sidewalking after the first hit. This is a launch every single time. You really want to be looking out for this and sidewalking the second hit. I believe you can sidewalk this to both directions as well. Yeah, you can sidewalk this to both directions. So that is a string you want to be on the lookout for, and you want to actually lab sidewalking this on reaction. You will still get tagged by this, but again, there isn't a huge risk unless your back is against the wall. So that's what I would say. Another one to look out for is down 2 4 3. It's this string where she's just flipping around here. This looks like I'm delaying it. This is just the speed of the string. You actually can't delay this at all, so it always comes out at the same speed, which means you always know if it's going to be delayed or not. This is a normal hit launcher. On counter hit, so if the first hit counter hits, she gets a knockdown. If the second hit counter hits, it is a launcher. It also has a lot of range, like an insane amount. But yeah, if the second hit hits, it's a counter hit launcher. If the third hit hits, it's normal hit. So the counterplay is it's -13, so just block. But yeah, you can't interrupt here, you can't sidestep here, the whole thing is homing. You just have to block and do a 13 frame punish. So this next string is actually insanely powerful. This is a good round ender for Zafina, which is down 4 3. This is a low high, and it is a launcher. It's not even a natural launcher, it's just if the second hit clips you, it's a launcher. This is not punishable. This is completely safe. What do I mean by that? Well, let me show. I have Jin here set to launch after the first hit, which is -19. If you try to punish this, you will die. So this is a very, very strong round ender. If you want to punish this, you want to commit to the duck. So that's what I would say here. But really be on the lookout for this move. This move is like kind of insane, given that the second hit is safe and it launches if you try to punish. Second hit is only -6. The last set of strings I want to talk about are her down forward 1 2 1+2 and her down back 2 1+2. These strings are pretty egregious. They're not broken because there is very simple counterplay. The hard part is recognizing what's going on. So first, let's set this to not set. So she has her down 1 2 1+2 that goes into this mid. If this mid hits you, it gives her install. It is -9, but that's so much pushback that it resets to neutral. And of course, it does more chip to you than it does to her. Beyond that, she has her down back 2 1+2, which does the same thing, except it's 1 hit instead of 2. So these both start off with 13 frames, which means that it's pretty hard to like react to what is happening here. On top of that, you can't sidewalk here. This tracks to both sides. And both of these variants track to both sides. So I'll show the other variant as well. Yeah, these are both homing. So you can't sidewalk. The only way to beat this is to interrupt with a 13 frame or faster move. So now I will have a Jin do that, and you'll see that this does work, but this is your only option. So this is something that I would lab, where I would lab actually interrupting here, because that's the only way to not just get chipped out by this. So you see here, 13 frame move will beat this. If you do a 14 frame move, they will trade. So notably, if your 14 frame move is, you know, like this, and it counter hit launches on the first hit, or it knocks down on the first hit, and this is a worthwhile trade. But 13 frames will always beat it, so I would recommend just using a 13 frame. But yeah, you can't sidestep it. If you block it, it's a winning exchange for Zafina. So you really want to lab these strings and make sure that you are interrupting here with a 13 frame move or a 14 frame move with some advantage. So that about wraps it up for her strings. Besides that, she has a couple of key moves you want to look out for. Mainly just her down 3. A lot of people don't know. So this is a very good low. It's an evasive low. So this high crushes, it's +5. It's really, really good. At 22 frames, most people aren't reacting to that. What a lot of people don't know, she doesn't go into stance. This is a -15. And she does go into stance, it's minus 13. If she goes into, which, because she can block mids in this stance, this is just, like, you can't launch this. It's always minus 13. I think Kazuya is the only character that can actually launch it. But because of just the way that this move works and how it's minus 13 in a stance she can block in, you really just want to use a wall rising 13 frame punish that has a low hitbox. Some characters notably have a very hard time punching this. Lily's wall rising 13 frame can't hit Zafina when she's in this stance. So make sure that whatever your 13 frame punish is can actually hit her. If it can't, just use your wall rising 4. Most wall rising 4s have low hitboxes. The first stance we're going to talk about is Tarantula, which is this, or Scarecrow rather, which is this one leg up stance. She can dash around, but this is like pretty worthless in all honesty. Just the biggest thing to note is that she cannot block in this stance. She does have this armor move though. So, okay. She can't block in this stance, but she can usually get in at pretty generous plus frames. Off of down forward 3, she gets in at -5, which is pretty bad for her. Off of 1-3, which is her 10 frame punish, she gets into -2. You're generally not going to see this unless she does a 10 frame punish, just using this neutral is pretty rough, because good players will duck the second hit. Forward 2-3, she can go in at 0, but this is a much slower mid-high. You can duck this a second hit. Standing 3 goes in at 0. Forward 3 goes in at +3, while we're talking about how insane this move is. Forward 3 is a mid that goes in at +4. While running 3 is a linear mid that goes in at +7. And Mantis down forward 1 goes in at +10. So, out of this stance, she has a jab string, which is -6 on block, +7 on hit. She has her 2 option, which loops back into stance at -7 on block and +7 on hit. Or she can 2-1 for a safe mid, heat engager. She can also 2-2. This, I don't think I've ever seen this before. I think this is just bad. It's slower than the other move. It's slower than the heat engager. It does give guaranteed follow-up on counter hit, but like literally just do this every single time if you play Zafina. I don't know. She has her down forward 1. Safe, normal hit, mid launcher. Does the same trip damage to you that it does to Zafina. Super, super good. She has her 1+2. This is a +6 on block mid that goes into Tarantula. This does have pretty stubby range though, so backdashing is a good way to avoid that. She also has back 1+2, extremely fast low that gives install on hit. Very, 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 very good. She has her 3-3 string. This is a mid high. This does not jail. You can duck the high and launch. She has down 3-3. Even on this low hitting you, you can duck and launch this. But this second hit is +3 on block, so pretty bad. She has her snake edge. Just block this. Lab what this looks like, because most people are getting hit by this. Even I get hit by this sometimes. So again, be on the lookout for that. She also has this move. This is like the bane of most players' existence. 15 frame, armored, -18 on block. So why is Zafina even using this? Instant tornado. Be super careful about pressing into Zafina on this stance because of this. You will get instant tornadoed, and Zafina players love spamming this. This is -18. Please launch this. And besides that, she also has her down 4. This is a reactable low. It's not very good. It's a bad slide, so it's just not very good. She has her down forward 4. This is a very good low out of this stance. +7 on hit into Mantis, or -14 on block into Mantis. However, while she is -14, she does high crush. She crushes some mids, and again, she can block. So be careful about what punishes you actually use here. Finally, wall sliding mid, that's 18 frames. This is -12 on block. So, on -5, which she gets off of this down forward 3 on block. On -5, she doesn't have great tracking options. Basically, all of her tracking options are lows. So on -5, we can set Jin to sidewalk right. And you'll see that the only options that are hitting are this 3-3. The second hit will clip you, which means you can duck the second hit. For down 3-3, the first hit will clip you, and again, it doesn't jail, so you can duck the second hit. And down forward 3. Or down forward 4. Notably, every single one of these is a low. Or it's a high that you can duck, because in the case of 3-3, you can just duck the second hit. As a consequence, on -5, sidestep right duck is very powerful here. So you'll just see that like this one option misses, the 2 misses, the armor misses, this misses, the down 1+2 misses, the low misses. Yeah, basically everything's missing. On -2, which she gets off of 1-3 on block, the only other thing that starts to hit you is this mid. The issue is this mid is ripped. So we'll just show it here. That's really good. So again, sidewalking right here gets a little bit spookier, but it is something that's, again, it is really good if she doesn't commit to this option on -2. On 0, again, everything is still missing besides the mid and this back 1+2. This starts to hit you now. And at this point, we're kind of at the point where, like, sidewalking is just not very good here because you're getting clipped by so many options. A sidestep right duck is still fine because it does beat the low. So it beats a lot of these options. So if you, on 0, if you sidestep right duck, that's still beating the whole stance besides this. But it's getting a little bit dicey. And then on +3, just the whole thing tracks. So you really don't want to be sidewalking that's a +3. So to summarize, the only time you want to be sidewalking right is off of down forward 3 on block, off of 1-3 on block, off of 4-2-3 on block, off of 1-2-3 on block. And yeah, those are the only times you really want to be sidewalking right. Besides that, you just kind of want to block. Next, we will talk about Mantis stance. Notably in this stance, if she uses the move that you block and goes into stance, so it's going to be a lot of lows and a couple of mids and like some running moves. Like in general, if you block a move that goes into Mantis, she is at least -13. Most of the time she's launch punishable, so if you want to rip a launch punish, then you just can. Make sure it has a low hitbox. But for everything else, you can just use a 13 frame punish with a low hitbox, and that'll be good. So Reyna, notably her down forward 1-2, that has an extremely low hitbox. It hits basically everything except grounded. That would be a really good move to use here because no matter what the frame advantage is, you're always going to get that punish. Because that's how she transitions on block, we're only really going to talk about how she transitions on hit. So we have 2-1-3 down. She transitions at -9. So that's one option. Down to 4, transitions at -4. Scarecrow down 4, transitions at -4 if you hold down. If you hold down. Okay, there we go. Her Tarantula 4, transitions at -4 on hit. Her down 3, transitions at +5. And her 4-4-3+4, this transitions at +5. Notably, if you tech roll here, she doesn't get anything guaranteed. If you try to do a wake-up kick, then you're having a really bad time. So, yeah. If you do anything besides tech roll, that is guaranteed, which gives her install into stance. So, just tech roll here, and they have to hold to make sub at +5. And the last one is Scarecrow down 4. This goes in at +7. So, she also has a million moves out of this stance. So, let's just go over all of them. Because, again, most people don't know what this character does, so it's worth knowing all of her options. 1-3. This is a 13 frame mid. It's or this is a 13 frame mid-high. You can duck the second hit. It is a natural combo, and if you get hit by this, it goes into stance at +9. But on block, it goes in at 0. We already know that you can sidewalk right, duck on 0, and that'll be everything except the mid. And yeah, try to duck the second hit. Down forward 1. This is the infinity move, +10 into stance. All ultra broken. Yeah, super obnoxious. Down 1-4. I've never seen this move before. This is a wall splatting low mid. If she counter hits with the low is -11 and the mid is -16, and it's also not a natural string. So this is always -16 if they finish it. I would be surprised if you ever saw this. Down forward 2. 19 frame launcher. Safe. Yep, that's pretty much it. 1+2. This is a -12 armor, which is actually relatively safe for armor. Also has guaranteed follow-up on hit. Super good. 3-1. You see this move a lot. Notably, this does not wall splat. It looks like it would, doesn't wall splat. So that is something to keep in mind. Also, the mid makes this low safe. So this is a safe low out of this stance. It's -9. She is in your face though. So that's pretty good. She also has up 4-3. This is a safe jumping mid. This guarantees her install on hit because it puts her back into stance. So that's all guaranteed. Next, we have her down forward 3. This low crushes. Doesn't guarantee anything on hit, but it just puts her back into Mantis, and you have to hold the mix-up. If you block this, this is disgustingly minus. On block, this is a -17 with a little bit of pushback. You should be able to launch this with most characters. But if not, just do your longest range punish that has a low hitting hitbox. Additionally, she has her 4-3. This is a -30 launcher, but it has infinity pushback. It's a low mid. The mid is not guaranteed off the low hitting. It is guaranteed on counter hit though. If you have a long range launcher, you can always launch this, but just be careful because it does recover in Mantis, so you need to make sure whatever launcher you use has a low hit hitbox. But like notably, Heihachi can forward to do this, so that is something that you can do. Next, she has down 4. This is a slide. It's +4 on hit, leaves her in stance. It gets more plus than that depending on the range that she hits from. It's hard to get this to hit at a reasonable range, but yeah, she can get up to +11 here, which is kind of insane. But it's a counter hit launcher, so cool. Most slides are. If you block the slide, it is launch punchable. And finally, we have her down forward 4, which is a wall splatting homing mid. That is only -5 on block. How do I get out of stance? You have the wall splatting homing mid that goes into Tarantula at -5. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a really good move, honestly. There's not a whole lot to say about it. That's +13 also, so if you get hit by it, you just have to hold a Tarantula mix. Now, in general, Zafina shouldn't be transitioning into the stance on minus frames. It's just kind of bad because you can launch this stance on minus frames. On -9, you can interrupt with anything 14 frames or faster and she'll just get launched. And on -5, or on -4 rather, everything kind of starts to track you. But if you have an 17 frame or faster launcher with a low hit hitbox, it just beats her pressing a button. It beats all of her buttons except for armor. So that's what I would do, is just mash a launcher. Note that, again, she can block in this stance. So if you do try to contest here with launchers, which is good against everything except blocking, you do try to contest with a launcher, she can just do nothing or use armor and then punish you. So that is what I would say. If you use a 17 frame or faster low, that's going to be extremely good because she can't block lows in this stance. And quite frankly, I've never seen Zafina use the low crush option. So Yeah, 17 frame or faster lows with counter hit properties. That's what I would suggest using on this stance on -4 or worse. And again, her transitions on -4 or worse are 2-1-3 down at -9, down 2-4 at -4, Scarecrow down 4 at -4, and Tarantula 4 at -4. Now the real frame advantage is getting hit by 4-4-3-3-4. This is going to be +5 in the stance. You have to hold a mix-up. And off of down 3, you're going to be +7. You have to hold a mix-up. Off of +5, you just have to hold the entire stance. Basically, the whole thing is tracking at that point, and she has 15 frame buttons that do stuff at that frame advantage. You just have to block. So if she does down 3, block, pretty much it. And if she does this on hit, block. It's the boring answer, but if she transitions on plus frames, you have to block, period. She does have frame advantages better than +7, but all the moves that are better than +7 have guaranteed follow-up, so you can't block anyways. Finally, let's talk about Tarantula stance. This is the crawling on the ground stance. In this stance, she is considered airborne, which means depending on the types of moves you use, I just won't really do anything to her. So if you hop kick here, she'll get floated a little bit because of the way her body is angled. You need an extremely specific combo for how you're going to hit her here. So yeah, she's airborne in this stance. She can crawl. She can't actually back up in this stance. So I don't really know if that would be relevant. She can only go forward. She can't go back in the stance. But yeah, basically while she is in this stance, she cannot block and she is airborne. Now she has a few moves that transition in this stance. So she has Scarecrow 1-4, transitions out -6 on block, +7 on hit. She has 1-4, which is a 10 frame punish, transitions on -5 on block or +8 on hit. She has Mantis down forward 4. This is a -5 on block, +13 on hit. She has down 2-4 down, which is +22 on block, -4 on hit. And the big ones that a lot of you guys are gonna know is while running 1+2, +6 on hit, and Scarecrow 1+2 down, +6 on hit. She also has Tarantula 3, so just in Tarantula, she can stay in the stance by using 3. And she can stay in by using the 1 option. But realistically speaking, a lot of you guys are like, okay, if she's in on +6, what do I do, right? That's the main thing to know about this stance. So, on this stance, she has an 18 frame low. This is +5, leaves her in stance. She has down forward 1, +6 on block heat engager. It does more chip to you than it does to her. She has this extremely slow armor move that's -13 on block. This looks like it does something. Like this looks like it absorbs a hit or it's a Sabaki of some type. This has no weird properties. This is just a normal armor move. It says it tornadoes here. It only does that if it hits an airborne enemy. So if you try to hop kick her while she's in this stance and you know she does this, then you'll get tornadoed. She also has the 3 option, which is a 14 frame mid, very fast, +5 on hit, -7 on block. On counter hit, this gives a guaranteed follow-up. So that is the big risk of contesting this stance, is that this will happen if you mash. So that is an option that she has, so just be aware of that. She also has this 4-3 option. This is a mid counter hit launcher. If she stops after the first hit, it technically stays in this stance, but it stays in a -22 on block. On hit, it's -4, which is not good. So, yeah, that is pretty much it for that move. She has a 1+2 option. This is a homing mid, so if you try to sidestep the stance, she can tag you with this. This also guarantees this on hit for 45 damage, so it's pretty good, but it is -12 on block. It does force crouch though, so make sure you use your while rising punishes. Just again, be on the lookout for that. And finally, she has her down 1+2, which gives install on hit. Because she can do this. That is guaranteed. It is reactable at 25 frames, and it's launch punishable at -21. So that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot to write home about. So what do you want to do about the stance? Well, even on some of her best plus frames, you basically always want to contest here. The main reason is that she doesn't really have fast options here. So even if she goes into +6, you'll see a lot of Zafina players, they'll run the down forward 1. This is 19 frames. You can interrupt this with a 12 frame move. Additionally, she doesn't really have fast options here. So for 12 frames, if you want to beat a 12 frame move, you can use the 1 option. But if you use like generic down 4 here, then you'll actually trade with her. So yeah, you'll get knocked down and you'll take 15 damage, but you'll knock her out of the stance. So as long as you're not dying, that's a fair trade in my opinion. You will get counter hit by this mid though, which will get a 40 damage heat engage, which is less good. Everything else isn't fast enough to beat a 12 frame and interrupt on +6. Which means that generic down 4 is going to beat most of the options out of the stance. And that's on +6. On anything else, a fast low will obliterate the entire stance unless they use the jumping mid. I've never seen someone use the jumping mid, so that's something to keep in mind. But in general, you just want to contest this stance. Reyna, in general, has a very, very good matchup against this stance because Reyna gets to her 1+2 has a very low hitbox. Just like her down forward 1 hits everything except grounded. So you'll see here, once I set it up, Zafina does not have many options. So again, to be clear, this is exclusive to Reyna. She's the only character, as far as I know, that can actually do this here because of how low the hitbox is. But you can see here, like, this is a losing trade. Armor does beat it here. And off of the armor, I get a back 3 for free. So it beats that. But this option, it beats. It does lose to this. It beats that option. It beats the down forward 1. It beats 4-3. It beats down 1+2. So you can see that a 12 frame move is pretty good here. 13 frame moves with low hitting hitboxes are also pretty good. So again, we'll use Reyna because she has probably one of the best down forward ones in the game in terms of hitbox. But you'll see here that these trade. This is not a good trade, obviously, but it is something that you can do. She also only has like 1 low out of here. She does have the down 1+2, but if you wanted to contest here with armor, that's not a bad option as well. Do note that if she does armor on +6, you do risk her armor beating yours because it's so slow. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I would just contest here with like a generic down 4 or with a 12 frame mid if you have one. Basically, only Reyna can contest with a 12 frame mid, but generic down 4 is pretty good. I will show what the generic down 4 will looks like now, and then you'll see how effective it is. So these trade, the 1 option, it beats armor. It still loses to the 4 option, or the 3 option. But you see how it's beating literally everything? With the exception of the jumping mid, which again, I've never seen before, and this mid kick. So, yeah. Generic down 4 and 12 frame mids are going to be pretty good here. You can also just block. The only button she has that gives her plus frames is the 1+2 option. So if you just block, that's the only thing that gives her plus frames. Okay, so that's going to just about cover it for Zafina. I know this video is going to be quite a bit longer than my other ones. That's because just most people have no clue what this character does. No one plays this character. This character does have a lot of like really broken moves. But in general, I think the huge weakness of not really being able to lock you down, I think that's real. Like, she does have sequences that are good, right? Like, I'm never going to tell you that something like this, I'm never gonna tell you that this isn't good. Like, this is all plus, right? But like, it's also all interruptible. So this is for sure good, but it's not like ultra broken. These are really good moves, especially this 4-4-4-3. Back 1+2, super good move. These strings, super good. But in general, she's not a character that I think is ultra broken. It's really just that back 1+2 is an egregious move. If they delete back 1+2, I think his character's totally fine. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this guide. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.